The mission of government clearly is to lead society. And government today, actually every level of government, from cities all the way up to large federal entities, are in the position to lead with a new asset called public data. To use this asset to drive better decisions, to provide innovative services, to enable fact-based decision-making in ways that will fundamentally transform 21st century society.
If you think about how governments over the years have turned water into a utility, have turned electricity into a utility, have turned transportation into a utility, now what's expected of them is take that natural resource and turn it into the fuel for the economy of the next generation.
In general, there's been a decline over the past 50 years of trust that the public has in its government.
This is a new era, and this is the new world that we live in. And keeping a lid on all the information that belongs to the people is no longer a viable option.
Governments of all sizes are rapidly and affordably transforming their costly old legacy technology. This is a necessity today as constituents are accustomed to accessing real-time information and services on the web.
Citizens specifically are expecting for data to be out there. I think that they do want to see where their tax dollars are going. So I think that it's going to be mandatory for governments to make sure that that information is there.
I think that we realized was that having all this data available is great for the public, but it's also great for us.
And so what open data has done for us is really allow a centralized repository where internally we can take steps toward solving solutions across departments by looking at each other's data.
All this data historically has been kind of kept inside, kept within government. But now we're pushing for more openness, right? More transparency around that data.
For government executives to demonstrate real leadership in the 21st century, it's imperative that they capitalize on the most powerful asset that they have, that being public data.
Data should be for everyone. It shouldn't just be for someone who submits a public records request.
We're rethinking open data. We're rethinking the entire government data stack and rethinking the user experience at Socrata.
We built software specifically and exclusively for government users and their external stakeholders. Citizens, developers, businesses, community advocates, researchers. So when we design software, we take a user-centered approach and we really dig into the needs of that unique persona and we design around their needs.
The same tools or very similar tools and technologies that cost the city of New York $3 to $4 million to develop are now being offered at a fraction of the cost to governments across the country of all sizes.
It gives people a sense to actually understand what's happening. And that's the key, right? We have to go from information to insight. And visualization and tools like Data Lens help people make that transition.
For me, one of the most exciting aspects of public data and data-driven government is in the nature of these proactive, alert-driven experiences that citizens get on their smartphones that provide them useful knowledge about something that's really important to them, something having to do with their family, with their health, with their neighborhood or city.
The world is digital now. Individuals today, they expect their entire world to be data-driven. The expectation now is exactly the same for governments to transform themselves from analog stand-in-line governments to digital 24/7 ubiquitously available governments.
Data as a utility is clearly one of the biggest opportunities for government in the 21st century.
Data is that next natural resource. It's this vital, raw public asset that government has in abundance, and now they are transforming it into data as a utility.
It's abundantly clear to us at Socrata, by virtue of working with some of the most innovative public organizations in the world, cities and states, federal agencies, that it's no longer a question of if. It's a question of when and how. Every public institution will capitalize on public data as the basis for 21st century digital government.
Socrata believes that unleashing the power of government data has the opportunity to improve the world around us.
We're really here to help transform the world.